All right, good day, class. So for our next topic, we will discuss the enteric gram-negative rods. So these are the Enterobacteriaceae family. At the end of this discussion, you will be able to discuss the process of identification of the Enterobacteriaceae in terms of the morphology, culture media, colony characteristics, biochemical tests, and serological tests. And then we will explain the principles or concepts of different identification techniques used, different pathogenic from non-pathogenic members of the genus. Next is to state the pathogenic and virulence factors present in bacteria belonging to the group and disease caused by them. And lastly, you will be able to enumerate the appropriate specimens submitted in the laboratory isolation and identification. So now, let's talk about the general characteristics. So always remember, guys, that when we talk about the Enterobacteriaceae family, so these are often referred to as enterics or what we call as coliforms. Okay? So these are large, heterogeneous group of gram-negative rods in which their natural habitat is in the intestinal tract of humans and even on animals. Kaya nga siya tinawag na enteric. So again, their habitat is on the intestinal tract. Okay, so again, they are gram-negative bacilli and cocobacilli, facultative anaerobes or aerobes. So now, Enterobacteriaceae family do not produce cytochrome oxidase except for the Pleishomonas. Okay, so now, one characteristic of the Enterobacteriaceae family is that all of them are able to ferment glucose. Okay, so again, lahat sila glucose fermenter. Next, they are able to reduce nitrate to nitrite except for the Photorhabdus and the Caenorhabdus. They are motile. Okay, so they are motile by the presence of the Trichus flagella at body temperatures. Okay, so again, they are motile with the presence of the Peritrichus flagella except for Klebsiella, Shigella, and Yersinia. Okay, so next, they are all catalase positive except for the Shigella dysentery type 1. Okay, so Enterobacteriaceae family possess a complex antigenic structure and they produce a variety of toxins and other virulence factors. Okay, so on the surface of the blood agar plate or the sheep's blood agar, usually, when we talk about Enterobacteriaceae family, they will appear as large, moist, and gray color. No, on sheep's blood agar and even on chocolate agar plate. So now, in the classification of Enterobacteriaceae family, we are using tribes. Okay, tribes in order to classify the members of this family. Okay, so this tribe was proposed by Ewing in 1963. Okay, so in classifying species into tribes, so Ewing grouped the bacterial species with similar biochemical characteristics. Okay, and remember within these tribes, organisms are classified further into genera and species. Okay, so we have the genus and species. Okay, so those are the different classification of the family Enterobacteriaceae. So now, listed here are the different biochemical characteristics of the tribes of Enterobacteriaceae family. Okay, so number one, some of them produces H2S gas. Okay, so when you talk about H2S, okay, so dito muna tayo. Okay, so when we talk about H2S, okay, so usually there is a blackening of the colony or blackening of the medium. Okay, so presence of H2S meaning there is a presence no, of blackening of colony or on the medium. So now, H2S can be observed on a triple sugar iron agar or the TSI. And we can also observe the H2S on LIA. Okay, so dito muna tayo kay TSI. So now, among those tribes, sino sa kanila yung nagpo-produce ng H2S no, on triple sugar iron agar? So always remember the acronym is SPACE. Alright, so SPACE. So who are those? So we have the Salmonella. P is for Proteus. A is for Arizona. C is Citrobacter. And letter E is Edward Shella. Okay, so again, H2S or blackening of the colony or the medium, so they can be observed on the triple sugar iron agar now with the following organisms. So again, always remember the acronym is SPACE. Salmonella, Proteus, Arizona, Citrobacter, and Edward Shella. Okay, next. Some of them are able to produce H2S on lysine iron agar. Okay, lysine iron agar or what we called as the LIA. Okay, so now for LIA, always remember the acronym as SAYS. Okay, SAYS. So we have S for Salmonella, A is for Arizona, C is for Citrobacter, and letter E is for Edward Shella. Okay, so again, number 1 for the H2S production. So these can be observed on TSI and LIA. Okay, so next. Some organism produces the enzyme urease. Okay, so when we talk about the urease production, so we have the so-called rapid urease producers. And we have the slow urease producers. So when you talk about the rapid urease producers, so always remember the acronym PPM. P is for Proteus, Providencia, and Morganella. Okay, rapid urease producers. Okay, and then we also have the slow urease producers. Okay, always remember the acronym C, KISS. Yan, so C, KISS. So we have Citrobacter. K is for Klebsiella. E is for Enterobacter. Except Enterobacter jergoviae. Y is for Yersinia. And S is for Serratia. Okay, so again, urease producers. Okay, so always remember the acronym PPM for the rapid urease producers and CKIS for the slow urease producers. Okay, next. So some are deaminase producing. Okay, so deaminase producing. So we have again the PPM. Okay, so you have the Proteus, Providencia, and Morganella. Okay, so these are the aminase producing. Okay, so next, we also have the so-called lysine decarboxylation or the LDC positive. Okay, lysine decarboxylation positive. So always remember the acronym KISH. Okay, so KISH. K is for Klebsiella. E is for Escherichia. Another E for Edwardsiella. S is for Serratia. S is for Salmonella, except Salmonella paratyphi. And H is for Hafnia. Okay, so these are lysine decarboxylation positive. Ish. Okay, so next, we also have the lysine decarboxylation negative. Okay, so organisms that are negative for lysine decarboxylation, always remember the acronym PPMC, yes. Okay, so PPMC, yes. So we have the Proteus. P is Providencia. M is for Morganella. C is for Citrobacter. Y is for Yersinia. E is for Enterobacter, except Enterobacter aerogenes and Enterobacter jergoviae. And then S is for Shigella. Okay, so those are the lysine decarboxylation negative. Okay, so now let's proceed to the pathogenesis and spectrum of diseases. So pathogens under the Enterobacteriaceae family are classified as to opportunistic and intestinal pathogens. So when you talk about opportunistic pathogens, okay, so remember, no, when we talk about opportunistic pathogens, they are part of the intestinal microbiota of both humans and animals. Okay, however, outside their normal body sites, these organisms are able to produce serious extraintestinal opportunistic infections. Okay, so example. Okay, so one good example is the E. coli or the Escherichia coli. Okay, so this is a member of the normal bowel biota. So normally present yan sa feces or sa stool natin. But on the outside of other body part, these are able to cause urinary tract infection. Okay, so si E. coli, it can also cause septicemia. Okay, even meningitis on neonates. Okay, so aside from E. coli, another members that are considered as opportunistic pathogens, so we have the Citrobacter, Enterobacter, Klebsiella, Proteus, and the Serratia species. Okay, so these are the different examples of opportunistic pathogens. Okay, so number 2, we have the intestinal pathogens. Okay, so when you say intestinal pathogens, so we are referring to as the primary pathogens. Okay, so example of this is the Salmonella typhi and Shigella. Okay, so si Salmonella typhi, these are able to cause typhoid fever. Okay, or tinatawag natin as yung mga enteric fevers. Okay, and then we have the Shigella. Okay, Shigella are able to cause dysentery. Okay, so again, we have the opportunistic and the intestinal pathogens. Okay, so now, let's proceed to the virulence or the antigenic factors, okay, of the family Enterobacteriaceae. So number one, we have the O antigen. O meaning somatic antigen. Okay, so O antigen or somatic antigen. So this is a heat stable antigen, and this is located on the cell wall. Okay, so again, O antigen or somatic antigen. This is heat stable antigen located on the cell wall. So number two, we have the H antigen or the flagellar antigen. So this is a heat labile antigen, and usually they are found on the surface of the flagella. Okay, so since these are found on the flagella, of course, this structure is responsible for the motility. Okay, and then lastly, we have the K antigen or the capsular antigen. So this is also a heat labile polysaccharide usually found on encapsulated species. Okay, these are usually found on encapsulated species. Okay, example, on the surface of E. coli. So for the E. coli, so we have the so-called K1 antigen. Okay, and then for the Salmonella enterica, we have the so-called the V antigen. So V stands for virulence. Alright, so let's proceed to the opportunistic members of the Enterobacteriaceae family. Okay, so number one is the E. coli. Okay, so E. coli was discovered during 1885 by Eskerich. So this is called as the colon bacillus or the golden bacillus. Okay, so E. coli has an IMVIC reaction of positive, positive, negative, negative. So what do you mean by IMVIC? IMVIC means indole, methyl red, Vox Proskauer, and citrate. Okay, so again, IMVIC means indole, methyl red, Vox Proskauer, and citrate. So what does it mean? Positive, positive, negative, negative. Indole positive, methyl red positive, Vox Proskauer negative, and citrate negative. Alright, so now when we talk about the E. coli, so this is a facultative anaerobic. So again, lahat naman sila glucose fermenting. Then of course, they are all gram-negative organism. So E. coli is used as a primary marker of fecal contamination in water quality testing. They are motile, so ibig sabihin, they have the presence of flagella. They have the presence of fimbriae, LSX pili, and the presence of the different antigenic factors, the O, H, and the K antigens. So E. coli is considered as a lactose positive or pink colony when grown on Macconkie agar. So ibig sabihin, when you talk about E. coli, so this is a lactose fermenter. So aside from glucose fermenter, lactose fermenter din siya. And then on the surface of the eosine methylene blue agar, so the characteristic growth is they have the presence of a green metallic sheen. Okay, so now, as I've said earlier, E. coli are able to cause UTI, bacteremia, meningitis on neonates, and even nosocomial infection. So actually, when we talk about E. coli, it is the most common cause of gram-negative nosocomial infections. So again, what are the properties of E. coli? So they are able to ferment glucose, lactose, even trehalose and xylose. They are indole positive, Voges-Proskauer negative, methyl red positive. They do not produce H2S production, so meaning there will be no blackening on the colony or on the agar. They do not produce DNase, urease, or even the phenylalanine deaminase. And they are citrate negative. So we have the so-called uropathogenic E. coli. So which causes or which is the most common cause of UTIs in human? Usually guys, no, these strains na nagkakos ng UTI allows them to attach to the epithelial urinary mucosa. And then we also have the gastrointestinal pathogens. Ito yung mga nagkakos ng diarrhea. So we have enterotoxigenic E. coli, enteroinvasive E. coli, enteropathogenic, enterohemorrhagic, and the enteroadherent E. coli. So let's talk about this one by one. So number one, we have the enterotoxigenic E. coli. Okay, enterotoxigenic, so they are able to cause diarrhea in adults and even on children. And actually, this is the major cause of infant bacterial diarrhea. And it is the major cause of what we call as the traveler's diarrhea. Okay, so this can be acquired through consumption of contaminated food or water. And usually, the patient has the presence of achlorhydria. Okay, what do you mean by achlorhydria? Achlorhydria. So this is the deficiency of the hydrochloric acid. Okay, so nababawasan yung hydrochloric acid dun sa stomach natin. And then enterotoxigenic E. coli produces a heat-labile enterotoxins. Okay, so next we have the enteropathogenic E. coli. So these are able to cause the infantile diarrhea. It is characterized by a low-grade fever, malaise, vomiting, and diarrhea. So this can be divided into two groups. So yung O serogroups, these are able to cause diarrhea. And then the H groups, they are able to cause the intestinal infections. So usually guys, no, for enteropathogenic E. coli, the appearance of the stool is watery. Okay, stool is watery with mucus but without the presence of blood. Okay, watery with mucus but without blood. So next, we have the enteroinvasive E. coli. So it produces dysentery with direct penetration, invasion, and destruction of the intestinal mucosa. So usually guys, no, this diarrheal illness is very similar to that produced by the Shigella species. Ito tinatawag natin na shigellosis. So this can be acquired via person to person or fecal-oral transmission. So usually, no, these organisms are non-motile and they are non-lactose fermenter. And they are or they do not decarboxylate lysine. And then next, we have the enterohemorrhagic E. coli. So during the 1982, the E. coli O157H7 strain of E. coli was first recognized. So this was during the outbreak of hemorrhagic diarrhea and colitis. Okay, so during that time, the E. coli O157H7 strain has been associated with hemorrhagic diarrhea, colitis, and hemolytic uremic syndrome. So when you say hemolytic uremic syndrome, it is usually characterized by low platelet count. Then there is a presence of hemolytic anemia and kidney failure. Okay, so that is hemolytic uremic syndrome. Okay, so now, the E. coli O157H7 strain does not ferment sorbitol in 24 hours. And usually, no, um, the biochemical test that we're going to perform here is the 4-methyl umbelliferyl beta D glucuronide, or what we call as the MAG assay. Okay, so for this biochemical test, actually guys, no, si E. coli O157H7, they really produce the enzyme beta glucuronidase. Okay, but 92% of the strains are able to produce it. So now, if the enzyme is present, the MAG will be cleaved and a fluorescent product is formed. Okay, so nagkakaroon po ng fluorescence. Okay, so the E. coli O157H7 are able to produce two toxins. Number one is the virotoxin 1. Okay, so virotoxin 1, so this is identical to the Shiga toxin. Okay, so this is identical to the Shiga toxin. Okay, so Shiga toxin, so this was produced by Shigella dysentery. So now, the virotoxin 1, these are able to produces damage to virocells. Okay, so when you say virocells, so those are the African green monkey kidney cells. Kaya sila tinawag na virotoxin. So again, they are able to produce damage to the virocells. So number 2, we have the virotoxin 2. So actually, no, this is very similar to Shiga toxin and the virotoxin 1. So these toxins has also been reported under the term Shiga-like toxins. So pareho din sila, no, ni Shiga toxin, but they are most likely to be found in the literature as the Shiga toxin 1 and the Shiga toxin 2. Okay, so again, they are most likely found to be Shiga toxin 1 and Shiga toxin 2. Okay, so E. coli strains that produce these toxins are what we call as Shiga toxin producing E. coli. Okay, so meron tayong tinatawag na Shiga toxin producing E. coli. Okay, or the STEC. Okay, so now, for the enterohemorrhagic E. coli, so there is a presence of a watery diarrhea. And then next, we have the enteroadherent E. coli. So this exists in two types. So number one is the DAEC, or the diffusely adherent E. coli. So these are able to cause diarrheal syndromes and UTI. And then we have the EAEC, or the enteroaggregative E. coli. So, ito naman, they are able to cause diarrhea. Ito yung dumidikit sa mga intestinal mucosa. Sa mga epithelial intestinal mucosa. Okay, so aside from diarrhea, E. coli are able to cause also extraintestinal infections. And the most common cause is the septicemia and meningitis among neonates. Okay, so other Escherichia species. So number 1, we have the Escherichia hermani. So these can be characterized as yellow pigment colony. and they can be isolated from CSF, wounds, and blood. Next, we have the Escherichia vulneris. So this can also be isolated from wounds and yellow pigmented din po siya. Escherichia alberti associated with diarrheal disease in children. Okay, so next we have the Klebsiella and the Rotella. So it has an imbric reaction of negative, negative, positive, positive. Indole negative, methyl red negative, Voges-Proskauer positive, and citrate positive. Okay, so most grow on Simon citrate and potassium cyanide growth. These are the H2S producers. Some of them are able to produce the enzyme urease. And usually, guys, no, the members of this genera can be found on the intestinal tract of humans and animals. Okay, and this microorganism also associated with the different opportunistic and hospital-acquired infections, particularly pneumonia, wound infections, and even UTI. Okay, so one good example of the species under the Klebsiella is what we call as the Klebsiella pneumoniae. It is the commonly isolated species because it has a large polysaccharide capsule. Okay, so yung capsule ni Klebsiella pneumoniae, so they will provide protection against phagocytosis. Okay, at the same time, si capsule, this is also responsible for the moist and mucoid colonies. So this is one of the characteristic of the Klebsiella pneumoniae. Okay, so again, capsulated. So we have mucoid colonies or tend to string. Okay, in which kapag tinatch mo yan ng inoculating loop sa culture media, they will tend to form a string. Okay, so now, Klebsiella pneumoniae is also what we call as the Friedlander's bacillus. Okay, so as the name implies, it is able to cause pneumonia. And usually, no, the pneumonia is very necrotic and hemorrhagic. Okay, so yung pneumonia, no, ni Klebsiella pneumoniae are usually causes the current jelly-like sputum. Okay, so current jelly-like sputum. So aside from Klebsiella pneumoniae, we also have the Klebsiella oxytoca, the only indole positive among the other Klebsiella species. Klebsiella pneumoniae, subspecies Ozonae. So this is associated from nasal secretions and the cerebral abscesses. So we have the Klebsiella pneumoniae, subspecies rhinoscleromatis. So these can be isolated from patients with rhinoscleroma. So rhinoscleroma is the infection of the nasal cavity. Okay, so usually, no, it manifests as there is an intense swelling and malformation of the entire face and neck. Okay, so that is the rhinoscleromatis or the rhinoscleroma. So next we have the Rotella or the Klebsiella ornithinolytica. So this is indole and ornithine decarboxylase positive. Next we have the Rotella planticola that can be isolated from urine, respiratory tracts, and blood of humans. Klebsiella varicola from the primary sterile sites, and the Klebsiella granulomatis. So before, it has been called as the Calimactobacterium granulomatis. So it is able to cause a chronic genital ulcerative disease, what we call as the granuloma inguinale. So it is also considered as a sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, so this table shows the differences between the genus Klebsiella. Okay, so again, no, the Klebsiella oxytoca is the only indole positive among those genus. So next we have the Enterobacter, Coronobacter, and Pantoea. So indole negative, methyl red negative, Voges-Proskauer positive, and citrate positive. So this is a motile bacilli that resembles Klebsiella when growing on McConkie agar plate. So it is citrate positive, indole negative, okay, and then um, lysine decarboxylase can be produced by most species, okay, except for the Enterobacter jergoviae and the Enterobacter cloacae. Okay, ornithine decarboxylase positive. Aside from that, Enterobacter are also considered as a slow urease producer, except for Enterobacter jergoviae. A slow urease producer. So Enterobacter taylori, they are lactose negative but ONTG positive. Enterobacter jergoviae, so they resembles Enterobacter aerogenes. These are classified as rapid urease producer. Then we have the Chronobacter or the Enterobacter sakazaki. So usually no, it produces yellow pigments. Ito nakikita natin dito. So it is a pathogen in neonates. Usually, it causes meningitis and bacteremia. Okay, following the consumption of powdered infant formula. Then we have the Pantoea or the Enterobacter agglomerans. So they are lysine, ornithine, and arginine negative. So ito yung tinatawag natin na triple decarboxylases negative. Okay? So they are indole positive, mannitol, raffinose, salicine, sucrose, maltose, and xylose negative. Next, we have the Serratia. Okay, so indole negative, methyl red variable, Voges-Proskauer positive, and citrate positive. So this is also considered as opportunistic pathogens, and they are considered as late lactose fermenters. Okay, so Serratia are positive for the ONTG test or the orthonitrophenyl beta D galactoperanocyte test, except for the Serratia ponticola. Serratia marcescens, Serratia rubidea, and Serratia plumitica are able to produce a characteristic red to pink pigment. Okay, so yan yung tinatawag natin na prodigiosin. Okay? So usually, they are classified as non-pigmented. Okay, yung iba sa kanila are non-pigmented. And then, they are also found on hospital-acquired infections. No, usually if there is an outbreak of urinary or the respiratory tract infections. So Serratia odorifera, these are able to produce a dirty, musty odor resembling rotten potatoes. So these are classified into two biogroups. So biogroup 1, so usually they can be isolated from the respiratory tract. So itong biogroup na to, they are positive for sucrose, raffinose, and the ornithine. And then we have the Serratia odorifera biogroup 2, which are negative, no, for sucrose, raffinose, and ornithine. Serratia liquefacens. Okay, so these are similar to Serratia marcescens, but ang difference nila is they are able to ferment arabinose. And then Serratia rubidea. Okay, so kasama siya kanina, no? That they are able to produce red pigment, what we call as the prodigiosin. So next we have the Hafnia. Indole negative, methyl red variable, Vogt-Proskauer positive, and citrate negative. Okay, so when we talk about Hafnia, usually, no, they are motile and a late lactose fermenter. Okay, what else? They are classified as ONPG positive. They are lysine decarboxylase positive and ornithine decarboxylase positive. Okay, so Hafnia alba is the representative of this genus. Formerly, it has been classified as Enterobacter albae. So, to differentiate it from Enterobacter, si Hafnia albae po is a late lactose fermenter. Remember guys, sa mga Enterobacter, they are rapid lactose fermenters. Next, si Hafnia albae, this is a citrate negative. Okay, so now, to differentiate it from Serratia, this is DNase, lipase, and gelatinase negative. So next, we have the Proteus. So they belong to the tribe Proteae. So they are able to deaminate the amino acid phenylalanine, and they are classified as a non-lactose fermenters. Okay, so now, both species, no, Proteus mirabilis and Proteus vulgaris are able to produce H2S, so meaning they are able to produce blackening of the medium. So the difference between these two, so si Proteus mirabilis is negative from indole but positive for ornithine. Kabaliktaran naman yan ni vulgaris. Si vulgaris, indole positive and ornithine negative. Okay, so now, the unique characteristics of the Proteus species, the presence of a chocolate cake or burnt chocolate smell. Okay, so again, they are rapid urease producers. Okay, so they have a typical swarming motility. So swarming motility, so ito siya. Okay, on the surface of blood agar plate. So kapag nag-inoculate ka dyan sa center, okay, so kapag in-incubate mo yan, kinabukasan, ganyan na yung itsura niya. So para silang may wave. So that is the swarming motility. So now, Proteus also are classified as the source of antigen for the Weil-Felix reaction. So Weil-Felix reaction, so this is one of the serologic tests for the diagnosis of rickettsial diseases. Okay, so now, so again, no, for the Weil-Felix reaction, so since this is for rickettsial diseases, so we will be using the Proteus antigens because si Proteus antigen nagko-cross-react yan kay rickettsial antigen. Okay, and they have the same common polysaccharide. Okay, so meron tayong sources, no, of antigen. So number one, for the Proteus vulgaris, so this is the source of the OX2 and the OX19 antigen. The number 2, for the Proteus mirabilis, so this is the source of the OXK. So OXK or the Kingsbury strain. Okay, so yan yung mga antigens na ginagamit natin for the Weil-Felix reactions. Okay, next we have the Morganella. So usually, these organisms can be found on the environment and then again, on the intestinal tract of humans and even on animals. Okay, so usually, very frequent, na nagkakos na nosocomial infections, even yung mga urinary tract and wound infections. So Morganella morgani are able to cause UTI and neonatal sepsis. So they are motile, but ang difference niyan kay Proteus is it does not swarm. Okay? So they are indole, methyl red, urease, ornithine decarboxylase, and phenylalanine deaminase positive. So next, we have the Providencia. Okay, so Providencia can be classified as, again, they are lactose negative, deaminase positive. Kung naaalala nyo kanina, kasama siya sa ppm. H2S negative. They are also motile, but no swarming. Okay, and these are able to ferment mannose and citrate. Okay, so that is the characteristic of the Providencia. So all members of this family are normal intestinal microbiota. But all of them are able to cause urinary tract infections and usually yung iba dyan resistant to antimicrobial therapy. So next we have the Edwardsiella. So this is negative for urea but positive for the lysine decarboxylase, H2S, and indole. So citrate, negative. So now usually, this organism is associated with water harboring fish or turtles. So yung mga immunocompromised individual na susceptible to this infection, pwede silang mag-develop ng mga serious wound infections. Okay, so we have the Edwardsiella tarda that are able to cause bacteremia and wound infections. Edwardsiella hoshinae that can be isolated from snakes, birds, and even on water. Edwardsiella ictaluri that can cause enteric septicemia on fishes. So next we have the Citrobacter. Okay, so Citrobacter, they are considered as the inhabitants of the gastrointestinal tract. Then, ganun din, associated din siya with the hospital-acquired infection. Most frequently, the UTI. So, they are able to hydrolyze urea slowly. Okay, they are lactose fermenter. They lactose fermenter. And they are able to grow on Simon citrate medium. So, Citrobacter frundi are able to produce H2S. Okay? And usually, they resembles Salmonella. Citrobacter cosseri, usually the cause of nursery outbreaks, for neonatal meningitis and brain abscesses. Citrobacter brachy, which is a rare human pathogen, okay, associated with community-acquired infections, usually in patients with cervical cancer. And then we have the Pleishmonas. So before si Pleishmonas, they are under the family Vibrionaceae. Okay, but ngayon, no, they are now part of the Enterobacteriaceae family. So they are gram-negative bacilli, glucose fermenters, and oxidase positive. So it is susceptible to the Vibrio static agent O129, and they are motile by the presence of the monotrichous or the Lophotrichus flagella. So the most common species, the Pleishomona shigelloides, that are also able to cause watery or secretory diarrhea. Alright, so now, let's proceed with the primary intestinal pathogens of the Enterobacteriaceae family. Okay, so number one, we have the Salmonella. Okay, so Salmonella, again, gram-negative, facultatively anaerobic, and on the selective and differential media, they appear as clear, colorless, and non-lactose fermenter colonies. So usually, no, they can be seen as colonies with black center. Ibig sabihin, they have the presence of H2S production. They are negative for indole, Vogt-Proskauer test, phenylalanine deaminase test, and urea. So again, most produces H2S except for the Salmonella paratyphi A. So now, Salmonella are classified into 6 species. Okay, so we have the Salmonella enterica, subspecies enterica, or the subspecies 1. Salmonella enterica subspecies salame, or the subspecies 2. Salmonella enterica subspecies arizona, or the subspecies 3A. Salmonella enterica subspecies D. arizona, or the subspecies 3B. Salmonella enterica subspecies hutinae, or the subspecies 4. And the Salmonella enterica subspecies indica, or the subspecies 6. Okay, so now, virulence factors of Salmonella. So number one, they have the presence of Fimbriae. So di ba si Fimbriae or pila, ginagamit po natin yan for attachment or for adherence. Okay, so once na mag-bind yan sa mga mucosa, so that will be the time that they are able to initiate intestinal infections. And then we have the different antigenic structures. We have the somatic or the O antigen, flagellar or the H antigen, and then the capsular antigen. So for the capsular antigen, remember, sabi natin kanina, for Salmonella, we have the heat labile V antigen. Okay, so these are found on Salmonella typhi. V for virulence. So humans are able to acquire the infection through ingestion, of the organism found on food, milk, or even water. Basta contaminated sila with human or animal excreta. So now they are able to cause acute gastroenteritis. Okay, so acute gastroenteritis. So usually, associated din po sila for the food poisoning. Okay, so again, food poisoning usually, kapag naka-ingest tayo ng mga contaminated foods, milk, or water. Enteric fever, usually, these are caused by Salmonella typhi, or the Salmonella paratyphi, or Salmonella cholera suis. And then we have the non-typhoidal bacteremia and a carrier state. So usually, carrier state, ito yung mga individual na naka-recover from the infection, but they may harbor the organism inside the gallbladder. Okay, in which yung gallbladder, yan yung site of the chronic carriage. And then next, we have the Shigella. Shigella is non-motile, does not produce gas from glucose except for the Shigella flexneri. Actually, negative sila, no? Halos sa lahat. Negative for urea, negative for H2S, negative for lysine decarboxylase, negative for acetate or mucate. Shigella sone, they are able to decarboxylate ornithine, a slow lactose fermenter, and ONTG positive. Shigella dysenteriae, these are able to cause the enteric bacilli or the bacillary dysentery. So Shigella was named after the Japanese microbiologist na naka-discover siya sa kanya, which is si Kiyoshi Shiga. Okay, so siya yung first na naka-isolate nung organism. Okay, so clinical infection. So again, no, pareho lang naman sila ng virulence factors ni Salmonella. Meron din siyang O and K antigens. Okay? So, shigellosis or the bacillary dysentery, it has an incubation period of 1 to 7 days. And usually, no, si patient are able to experience fever, abdominal cramping, and diarrhea. Then after that, it will follow sa diarrheic stage in which mag-undergo na sila ng watery diarrhea for at least 3 days. Until it will lead to the dysenteric phase in which kapag dysenteric phase, yung stool natin, meron na pong presence ng blood, pus, and even mucus. Okay, so now this table shows the different species of Shigella with their serogroup. So this Shigella dysenteriae for the serogroup A, Shigella flexneris, the serogroup B, Shigella boydii, the serogroup C, and Shigella sonei as the serogroup D. Okay, so among those organisms, si Shigella dysenteriae lang po yung negative for mannitol fermentation. Okay, then among this group, si Shigella sonei lang po ang able to decarboxylase ornithine. Okay, so next we have the Yersinia. Okay, so Yersinia are short pleomorphic gram-negative rods. Usually, no, they can exhibit bipolar staining. Okay, so pag sinabing bipolar staining, if you can still remember, we can use methylene blue or the Wasson stain. So catalase positive, microaerophilic or facultatively anaerobic. Okay, so we have 3 known species. We have the Yersinia pestis, the causative agent of plague, or if familiar kayo with the Black Death. Yersinia enterocolytica and the Yersinia pseudotuberculosis. This is a zoonotic infections. So Yersinia pestis is again the causative agent of the disease plague. So pag sinabi natin plague, so this is usually a disease of rodents. Okay, yun nga lang, it can be transmitted to humans. Okay, so now, during bipolar staining, if you're going to stain it using methylene blue, or if you're going to use the Wasson stain, so they have the characteristic safety pin appearance. Okay? So it can be isolated on routine culture medium and it can grow at 37 degrees Celsius, but their preferred growth temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. Okay, so plug exists in three forms. Number one is the bubonic form. So this is the most common. Usually, it results from the bite of an infected flea. So the symptoms appears 2 to 5 days after the infection. So usually the patient exhibits high fever with painful regional lymph nodes, what we call as the buboes. And then we also have the septicemic form. Usually this happens when the bacteria spread to the bloodstream. No, septicemic form. And then pneumonic plug, usually it occurs no secondary to bubonic plague or the septicemic form. So this happen if the bacteria are inhaled. Okay, so ibig sabihin yung organism is hindi lang sa bloodstream nag-proliferate but even on the respiratory tract. Yersinia enterocolitica, so it can also exhibit a bipolar staining. They are able to grow on sheep's blood agar and McConkey agar. Then their optimal growth temperature is 25 to 30 degrees Celsius. So they can be found on variety of animals including domestic swines, cats, and dogs. Okay, so usually no, in humans, infections mostly occur after the ingestion of contaminated food. Okay, so usually no, yung mga beef, chicken, lamb, and then pwede rin sa mga milk and water. Okay, so it exists into several forms such as acute enteritis. So this is the most common form of infection. So aside from acute enteritis, it is accompanied by fever, headaches, abdominal pain, and even diarrhea. So sa diarrhea, meron na pong blood, yung stool. Next, arthritis, no, and even the erythema nodosum. When you say erythema nodosum, so this is the inflammation of fat cells under the skin. Okay? So now, what happened on erythema nodosum is nagkakaroon ng mga red nodules or lumps. Okay? So merong mga presence ng red nodules or lump. So now, culture media that we can use for Yersinia enterocolitica is the CIN agar. Cephsoludine, Irgasa, Novo, Biosine agar. Okay, so this contains cephsoludine, Irgasa, Novobiosine, bile salts, and crystal violet as inhibitory agents. But nowadays, it has been modified. No, nag-add tayo ng mannitol. And this media is what we call as the Yersinia selective agar base or the YSA base. In which kapag yung organism is nag-ferment ng mannitol, so they will result in a decreased pH around the colony, causing the pH indicator neutral red to turn red at the center of the colony. And of course, the bile to precipitate. And then, if no fermentation of mannitol, okay, it will able to produce a colorless, translucent colonies. Okay, and then we have the Yersinia pseudotuberculosis. There's also a pathogen of rodents and guinea pigs. This is characterized by acacia swellings, what we call as the pseudotubercles. Okay, so It is motile at 18 to 22 degrees Celsius, and they are able to produce urease and ferment rhamnose. So usually guys know for the pseudotuberculosis, the disease is often fatal in animals. Okay, so other genera of the family Enterobacteriaceae. So we have the Budivicia. So the most known species, the Budivicia aquatica, which is usually found on water. Okay, next we have the Butioshella. So it is similar to Citrobacter and Clivera species. We have the Cedicea, the Ewingella, okay, and the Ewingella americana is the only species. Clivera, okay, it is known as having a reddish blue or violet pigment. Okay, so Leclercia, such as the Leclercia adecarboxylata, they are able to produce a yellow pigment. Laminarella, H2S producer. We have the Muellerella, positive for citrate, methyl red lactose, and sucrose. So they resembles E. coli. Obesum bacterium, which is a fastidious. So pag sinabing fastidious, no, they are very difficult to grow. Okay, we have the Photorhabdus. They are able to produce pink, red, orange, yellow, or green pigmented colonies. Ranella, okay, the Ranella aquatilis, okay, the most well-known organism which can be found as a water bacteria. Troubleshella, okay, so these can be isolated from a vacuum cleaner contents. Euchenella, okay, similar to Hafnia. We have the Tatumella, okay, which are slow-growing organism. So now, as a summary, this table shows the different organisms, their clinical significance or the pathogenicity. So kung saan test sila positive and negative and other informations. Okay, and then listed here are the different TSI result of the different organism. Maconchi agar, their growth on the hectowin, and XLD agar. And then again, listed here are their TSI and LIA reactions.